Hi guys, welcome to another mini kit Monday process video. This video was intended for last month. I either didn't have enough Mondays to put up videos or I didn't edit this in time. So I do start with showing you the things that I had pulled out for this layout. I don't end up using that little film of holographic paper, these rosettes, or that Amy Tangerine sticker book, or the little puffy stickers for that matter either. I do end up using this Webster's Pages paper. It's in the 6x8 format. I don't recall what collection it is. I'm taking off the date from that sticky notepad on the back of the photograph. I try to date my photos before I scrapbook them, or as I print them, I date them so that I remember and I don't have to go looking back through my phone. I was able to use my punches last month and I'm really happy about that. These hexagon, even though I like the shape, and I do love seeing people make hexagon layouts with hexagon shapes in them, for me it's one of those shapes that makes me pause, and I think it's just because I don't use my hexagon punches all that often. So if it's a weird shape or something that you hesitate using, like another one for example for me would be clouds, I think the best thing to do is just try and make a layout with it, and it doesn't have to be your most favorite layout, but it can be one that you practice with, and it doesn't all have to be something that you love. As long as the layout gets made and you have something documented, then I think that's really the important part of it all. Here I am using an edge punch. This one is from EK Success. It's one of my most favorite used punches in general, not even just for border punches, but I think that's one of the ones that I use the most, especially with my younger kids. They're still in school. I think it's one that I gravitate to a lot. I do like the texture that the edge punch brings, and yeah, it's one that I pick up a lot. So here I'm matting this hexagon. I cut this hexagon out of a 2x2 little notebook from the Pick Me Up collection from Paige Evans, and she sells them in two, with a pattern swatch and one with phrases, and that's where I got that one. It says "This is the life," and I just thought it was appropriate because at 5 years old, what do? Just a lot of TV and coloring and having fun. So I figured this was an appropriate phrase to use for his picture. Let's see here, I decided to add another layer just to give it some depth, but also to kind of separate the busyness of the pattern a little bit, because I do use the patterns that I matted it with, a white pattern, and then also just to give it a different little contrast from the orange grid, which is a bit busy. So here I am trying out these rosettes, and I think that I don't end up using them, one, because they're very dimensional, and two, because then they compete with the hexagon shape. I think the reason that the grid and the hexagon work together is because they are kind of very linear, and I think I tried to incorporate the rosettes because I had circle shapes on the pattern paper that I punched out from Project Life cards. I really didn't know where I was going at first with all of these hexagons until I decided to make a literal visual triangle with them, and I lined them up as best as I could, made a starting point from that far right hand side where you see the lined purple hexagon to the top and bottom left corners of the left hand side. I did add that strip of turquoise polka dot paper to help anchor the photograph, and I added layers of vellum punched out in hexagon shapes as well to help repeat that or bring that element out towards the layout, because I had decided to add it to the photograph. So here I was having a bit of back and forth because I felt like the layout needed something, and so I decided to bring out a stamp set. I was going through my sticker books thinking that I was going to find something in that, and then I came across the stamp set in my box as well, only because those are stamp sets that I haven't yet used, and so I'm trying to keep them in front of me. Usually my stamps sit behind me in a bookcase at the far end wall of the opposite wall of where my desk is. And so if I don't see them, I tend not to use them. And so I try to rotate stamps or pull out a couple that I know I want to use. Um, I did use multiple colors. I did use multiple colors in the stamping, and that's because it brings more energy, or it brings more colors in, period. But I think it adds a lot of energy to the layout, especially because the pattern papers that I chose were a bit muted. I tried to kind of distress the ink, but it didn't really go anywhere, and I'm okay with that. The water really didn't blur the images, or the ink spread a bit, but not too much that you could totally tell. I used second generation stamping as well, so it was intended to be a bit messy, along with the stitching. I did way more than this, and you can see that I sewed on the turquoise one, but also I did all of the hexagons, and then I also sewed a border around the whole layout just to kind of give it a frame of some sort. So here you can tell, you can see like how much sewing I did in the layout. It was quite a bit. I think I went a bit overboard, but the good thing is that it's with a white thread, and so it's not very in your face. It's more of it's a very light texture feel, and it doesn't make the page seem heavy because of the color thread that I chose. Here you see me gluing this love word, and that was cut out of a 4x6 Project Life card from a Heidi Swapp mini kit. And I also found this play word in a triangle, and I decided that they would be great complements to the layout. I like that I used different textures as far as a different type of material. I did try to incorporate those elements, the acrylic shapes, the origami bird and hummingbird, but they didn't end up making the page. I did also try to use the buttons, and that didn't work as well. But here you can see that I added a title, Things I Love, and it says 3 of your favorite things: coloring, learning, and Curious George on the tag that I ended up using. I also distressed edge the edge of the layout, and that's about it. Here, coming up are some details of the layout. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to subscribe. Give this video a thumbs up so other creative people see this pop up on their feed or suggestions. And leave me a comment. I would love to know what your thoughts are on the layout. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next process video. Have a great day. Bye.